Hi, this is Erin from Bridgeville and South Fayette Libraries. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful berry tart that's super simple to make. It is a little time intensive though, so if you're making it for a specific occasion, you would want to leave a little bit of time to make it ahead. So now we're going to look at how to make it. We are going to start off making our crust with our 1 1/4 cup flour, a pinch of salt, and then we are going to add to that our 1/3 cup shortening. I like to cut up my bits of shortening just because we're going to blend it together anyway, and then if you do that, it just makes blending it in a little more easy. So I'm going to use pastry cutter. If you don't have one of those, you can just use a pair of forks. So then what I'm going to do is just with kind of a rocking motion, just sort of go in and combine the shortening into the flour salt mixture. And this will take a little bit, but just be patient and keep working at it. You might have to scrape off your forks or your pastry cutter every now and then to get the excess shortening off there. But the texture you're looking for is going to resemble pebbles, and when you get there and you don't see any obvious lumps of shortening, then you know you're finished. So I'm going to keep working on this, and we'll be back in a few minutes to put our water in the dough. So our dough, I've finished mixing it. You can see the texture here a bit. And we're ready to add our first tablespoon of water. We're going to add our water 1 tablespoon at a time. That's very important. So I'm going to add my first scoop, and then I add it along the side there, if you can see that. So I added it right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine. I'm going to squish that until that small section of dough just kind of absorbs that. And I'm basically just moistening one area of flour so that it becomes a dough. That's what I'm doing. So I'm just gently pressing it with my fork, just that small area, until it absorbs that water, until I don't see any excess liquid around there. And then once I feel like all of the water is absorbed, I take my fork away. And then you can see that this section here, so then I'm going to press it up and away along the side, away from all the rest of the dry dough. So you can kind of see that right there. I have my section of flour that has now become dough. I pressed it to the side. So then what I will do is 1 tablespoon at a time. I will just repeat that along the rest of the bowl, pushing it up against the side until it forms a ball of dough. So I have my ball of dough here, and it's ready. I'm ready to roll out my crust. So I'm going to just kind of form it into a nice ball real quick. Make sure I don't have any inconsistencies here. And then I have my floured surface. I floured my rolling pin. I'm going to roll it out. So I roll it from the middle here. Up, turn it over, and I want it to be around a 12-inch circle if I can get that. I need it to be a bit bigger than my 9-inch pan because I need it to cover the sides. So I need that to go up and over. So it's going to be a bit thin, which is okay. So I have my crust here finished, and as you can see, it's got some patches there where those were sections that had a little bit of thinness to my crust. So feel free to do that if you notice transparent places. The crust is something that, you know, no one's going to see, so take as much time as you want. Now, unlike a pie, you want to cut your tart crust all the way to the edge of the pan. You're not going to tuck anything under or anything like that. And don't be alarmed if you have a lot of dough left over. This is how much I had left. It just leaves you a lot for making repairs. So you do want to make some holes for steam to escape. You want to take your fork and just make a whole bunch of indentations along the bottom of your pie. That's called docking, and as I said, it allows the steam to escape. So we are now ready to put our crust in the oven for 10 minutes on 450 degrees. Keep an eye on it. You want it to be just a light golden brown. So my crust has cooled completely. I let it cool in the pan, and now that it's completely cold, I'm going to add the filling. So I have my 8 ounces of sour cream. I've added 2 tablespoons of sugar and just mixed it together using my spatula here. And I'm just going to dollop the filling into the crust now. And then once that's done, I shall spread it all around here. Dollop all around. And for the sour cream, you want to use either fat-free or light sour cream when you're making this. Okay, so I'm going to just spread this, and you want to make sure that you are spreading it into all of the little nooks and crannies here so that you get all of the edges and it goes evenly to the sides. So that's looking pretty good. And then what I want to do now is just kind of level it off so that I get kind of like a solid top on here that'll make it nice and easy to layer my fruit on. So that's looking relatively good. Just gonna keep working at this. And then what I will do next is I'm gonna put some plastic wrap over the top here, and it will go in the fridge for up to 2 hours in order to firm up, and then I will put my fruit on. So, see you back in a bit. So I have my tart here. The top is set, and I've started decorating it with my fruit. You can use a variety of fruit when you decorate. I'm going to use strawberries and blueberries, and the pattern is up to you. I'm doing this sort of circular pattern here and just arranging things so that they go around nicely. And then I'm going to just sort of fill in the middle here with some blueberries. And that's it. It's a nice, easy recipe, and you can serve it just like this. And when you go to serve it, you're going to pop out the bottom tray so that it's much easier to cut. So that's all for making a berry tart, and thank you for tuning in.